On the news, Vice President Kashim Shatima tasked graduates of legislative mentorship on nation building. And calm returns to River State Assembly as presidency intervenes. Good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News coming to you from Abuja. I'm Amina Saidu Abubakar. Graduates of Legislative Mentorship Initiative are advised to contribute to building a brighter future for Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shatima stated this when graduating class of the second cohort led by the Chief of Staff to the President and former Speaker House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila visited him at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdraman Jibrila reports.
This set of young Nigerians having the opportunity to interact with the Vice President, sharing their knowledge and experience in the Legislative Mentorship Initiative. The goal is to train the future generation of lawmakers and ethical public servants who will improve the quality of public service and promote a new era of good governance in Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shatima acknowledged the country's current challenges, offering a resolute vision for overcoming them, specifically praising the graduates' digital prowess, encouraging them to leverage their skills for national development. After the interactive session, their newfound sense of purpose and national pride have the potential to transform the nation's landscape.
Being here has just inspired us, helping us know that, okay, our dreams are possible, and for people to achieve this kind of feats, then we also can. And especially for him to clear his schedule to make out time to speak with us, we don't take that for granted. We know that he's a very busy person and he understands the importance of grooming youth for the future. And so him taking this time to see us has really inspired us and solidified our resolve into working towards nation building.
Founder of the Legislative Mentorship Initiative, Femi Gbajabiamila, said the generation of young men and women in the cohort is a generation like no other, coming from a pool of over 5,000 applicants and expected to have an ecosystem nurtured to present excellent leadership. From the State House, Abdraman Jibrila, NTA News.
Call to duty from another arm in service to the nation, you may say. Immediate past Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, now bears the title of Distinguished added to his name. Lalong was sworn in as the senator representing Southern Senatorial District of Plateau State following an appellate court judgment in his favor. Senator Lalong calls it homecoming because his political journey began in the legislature at the state level. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The court had on 7th November 2023 affirmed Lalong as the duly elected senator representing Southern Zone of Plateau State while serving as a minister of the Federal Republic. Lalong resigned his position at the Labour and Employment Ministry to enable him take up his seat in the Senate.
As a member of the Senate,
I will perform my functions.
I will perform my functions
Honestly to the best of my ability.
honestly to the best of my ability,
Faithfully in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
faithfully in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We look forward to getting his robust ideas on all items on our agenda paper. So, Senator Lalong, once again, congratulations on your inauguration today.
Meanwhile, Senate President declares vacant the seats of Ebonyi South and Yobe East senatorial districts. The two seats were occupied by Senator David Umahi and Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, who are now serving ministers. In another development, the Senate Committee on Finance has given 24 hours to the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission to appear before the committee.
You are the custodian of the finances of Corporate Affairs Commission. We saw discrepancies. How many entities do we have registered in this country? I'm invoking Section 89 subsection 2 and directing the Inspector General of Police to mandate the RG of Corporate Affairs Commission to appear before the Committee on Finance of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria within 24 hours.
Meanwhile, The committee has asked the management of National Lottery Regulatory Commission to improve on its revenue in 2024. During its engagements with Nigerian Maritime Administration and Security Agency, the committee requested the managing director to forward more of its financial documents for scrutiny. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Yes, another sigh of relief for road users traveling for Yuletide. The state of federal highways comes in focus as the House of Representatives passes a resolution urging the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to repair failed portions of federal highways to make road travel easier for commuters during the Yuletide. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ekpen reports on this and other deliberations at plenary.
It is expected that the hike in air tickets may compel many Nigerians to resort to traveling by road for the Yuletide. Lawmakers at plenary, however, call attention to the dilapidated state of some federal roads in the country.
Federal highways, including the Gombe Road, are in deplorable condition, leading to numerous road crashes and insecurity risks.
Immediately commence repairs of the failed section of the roads, especially Iseluku-Asaba-Onitsha Express Road, or in the alternative, enter an agreement with state governments to fix the roads and be reimbursed in the near future.
After some debate, the House adopted a motion requesting the Central Bank of Nigeria to explore mechanisms of implementing the use of the Chinese yuan as an additional foreign exchange reserve currency to mitigate the depreciation of the naira.
The International Monetary Fund proposed diversification of foreign exchange reserve for Central Bank of Developing Countries, which Nigerian is one.
The way to strengthen your currency is to expand your productive and industrial base, create jobs for your people, improve on infrastructure, not adopting the foreign currencies of other countries.
Calling for the full implementation of the adoption of the Chinese yuan that had already taken place in 2018.
Those in support of the motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Also adopted was a motion seeking the suspension of the policy of additional aptitude test for direct entry students as proposed by the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB.
Emphasizing the need for sensitivity to the economic challenges faced by students and their families.
Several bills scaled second reading, seeking establishment of critical institutions.
A federal medical center in Okehielje will provide specialized maternal and child health care services, including parental care, delivery services, and postnatal care.
Establish Federal Medical Center Fagi, Kano State, in order to provide timely medical care for the entire people living in that area.
Meanwhile, 18 bills from the 9th Assembly have been referred to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration. From the National Assembly, Mitari Ikben, NTA News.
Still to come, National Assembly rounding off 2022 budget defense as committees submit their reports. These and more stories when we return. Stay with us. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has denied any increase in the cost of examination registration fees in spite of the prevailing economic situation in the country. This was during an investigative hearing with House Committee on Basic Education. Correspondent reports that the Registrar, Professor Isaac Oloyede, and his team also answered questions on budget performance and defended the 2024 proposals. The Chairman House Committee on Basic Education commended efforts of JAMB management for being transparent and responsive.
We are going to provide value, addition and maximum support for the agency under us and x-ray their challenges with a view to profiling solution with the use of legislative instruments.
On some grey areas, the Registrar, alongside the Office of Accountant General, gave reasons for some discrepancies, giving room for reconciliation.
We have not increased the cost. What we have just done is to allow the CBT center to charge more than they are charging. But because we are going to collect it for them, why are we collecting? We are collecting because if we leave them alone, they will extort these students and they will be collecting 4,000, 5,000. That's why we say, pay to us, we will transfer to you weekly.
Members of the committee harped on resolution of issues related to employment of new staff, university admissions and computer-based test centers.
Your disposal of fixed assets, especially auctioning of some of your boarded equipment, vehicles and so on.
I see that the board used 5 and 15% in the depreciation of assets, building and infrastructure.
At the end of the hearing, a motion was passed for JAMB to supply some documents to support submissions made during the investigative hearing. From the National Assembly, Amina Saidu, NTA News. The National Assembly has resolved to support federal government to declare a state of emergency on the use of illicit drugs and narcotics in Nigeria because of the negative effect to the society. This proclamation formed the foundation of the budget defense session of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, before the Joint Committee. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide completes the report.
The Joint Committee of the two hallowed chambers affirmed that there is no greater challenge to security, peaceful and harmonious Nigerian society than drug abuse. Despite the non-release of the 2023 capital budget, the NDLEA is proposing an estimated appropriation of 49.9 billion naira for the 2024 fiscal year.
Commanders across all states of the Federation are battling with decaying infrastructure, lack of vehicles, lack of funds for intelligence, to enable them confront headlong the growing menace of illicit drug abuse and trafficking.
Arms and ammunition alone is 1 billion. How many arms and ammunition will that one purchase? I saw about 10 billion naira. How many barracks will you construct with that? You can even meet a minister of housing. Maybe he will be able to assist you. The welfare packages of the officers are very, very poor.
Don't rely on this severely, because if I ask you, how much are you going to give these guys when they are leaving? And I can tell you a single drug baron can multiply that 5 to 50 times for them.
Every state in Nigeria is supposed to have a rehabilitation center operated in charge 100% by NDLEA.
The commission has been turned around, and on our own part, we are doing our best to ensure that we support you.
Recall that the two chambers are currently legislating to ensure the passage of a bill to amend the act that established NDLEA, thereby translating its control to the presidency. From the National Assembly, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
Now for discussion segment, joining us to discuss the 2024 budget scrutiny is Member House Committee on Finance, Abdul Malik Abdul Rahim. Honorable, you are welcome to NTA Parliamentary News.
Thank you very much.
Considering the time frame for the presentation and consideration of the 2024 budget, how have lawmakers fared in ensuring scrutiny of the budget?
Yeah, the time indeed was quite short, but the legislators too had to be innovative by resorting to joint meeting of the two chambers to take a look at the budget. This helped to deepen the process, having senators and House members come together to look at the budget at the same time. As we speak, both houses, appropriation committee of both houses, are looking into the budget report as submitted by the various committees, and I can assure you that we'll be able to meet up at the target given by the Speaker, the Right Honorable Speaker of the 30th December target. What the Finance Committee did was to look at the MTF submitted, to look at whether the finances will be available, the revenue available to fund this budget. And I'm sure they have given us their assurances, and look at the performances of last year, we'll be able to meet up with the targeted budgeted estimate.
Some agencies complained about insufficient allocations. Are we likely to see increases in allocations, and how will it be funded?
I can't tell you for sure that there will be increases, but I'm sure the House is going to do the needful to look at the area of needs and will advise the executive as appropriate. And as the revenue comes in, I'm sure the executive will know how to come up with interventions which the House will gladly take and look at it again. But from this point, I'm not sure this time around the House will just go about increasing any envelope for any MDA. But we'll draw the attention of the executive to areas of need where we think maybe there is zero envelope, or we think what is budgeted, estimated for such agencies may not be enough. The other thing we are looking at is the performances of these agencies in the past. Don't forget that the people here, we have technocrats here too in the National Assembly who knows what the budget estimate is all about. You don't go about just increasing envelope because you feel an agency needs it. We'll first look at what they have done with what's given to them in the previous budget. That will determine what their need is. Those that are getting zero envelope may not just because the budget office feels they should be giving zero. Maybe they have not really accounted for what they are giving. Maybe that is why. And I think there is always a way to make amends.
Are you still hopeful that we can achieve the aim of a January to December budgetary cycle?
We are working towards it. It can be done. And that is what I'm sure that is why the president gave us a deadline, not forcing us, because we have to look at the nitty-gritty of the budget. We don't just a rubber stamp assembly. We are working in harmony. We are working in harmony with the executive to see that if the budget can be from January to December, it's going to do all of us good. So working towards it.
Honorable Ibrahim Danga, we thank you for your insight and time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The news continues. With peace gradually returning to Rivers State through the peace resolution brokered by the presidency, some residents are calling on political actors to embrace peace above personal interests. Robinson Deratidi reports.
Rivers State took the center stage of news nationwide since October 2023, when 27 lawmakers made a sharp move to impeach the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara. They also took steps to amend some sections of the local government laws to protect the serving local government chairmen. 24 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by the factional Speaker Martins Amewule, has officially withdrawn the impeachment notice served the governor of Rivers State on 30th of October. This follows the peaceful accord signed by both parties to allow peace to reign in the state. Some residents of Port Harcourt believe that this is the beginning of the peaceful process so desired in the state.
The gladiators should ensure that they don't throw us back to the days of anarchy and chaos, when the court systems are, when the court were locked, and when things are happening abnormally.
We should allow peace to reign in this state, because where there is no peace, then definitely we are bound to face what is called anarchy, lawlessness, and that will not be the best interest of the general citizens of the state.
Rivers State received respite with the news about peace resolutions brokered by the presidency.
There's every need for us to share our personal interests, our personal ego, and face the people. How does it affect the people?
Court rulings and judgments are superior to any agreement you have, very, very superior. And but if parties decide to settle out of court, when they settle out of court, they will still have to reduce that agreement into writing, and they will not take it to court. Court will enter it as judgment. But in this case, it is not the case.
We are calling on him, Governor Sim Fubara, please be focused. Leave this distraction. focus on governance. The good governance already we are seeing.
The governor is yet to speak on the alleged condition given for the return of peace, such as a reported signing of resolutions, even as some persons maintain reservations, particularly on how it could affect the court rulings about the assembly members. Some women have been gathering around the government house for 3 days to pray for peace and to avoid the development to degenerate. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Derateide, NTA News.
Sokoto State House of Assembly has passed the 2024 appropriation bill of more than 270 billion naira, as well as a bill to establish the Sokoto State Community Guards. This formed the presentation of the reports of the House Committees on Finance and Appropriations and that of the House Joint Committee on Special Services, Security, Judiciary and Human Rights. Correspondent Nuruddin Abdullahi Adil has more on the report.
Presenting the report, Chairman House Committee on Finance and Appropriation Abdullahi Alhaji Zakari said during their assignment, ministries, departments and agencies of the governments were invited to defend their budget before the House standing committees. Zakari said nothing was added or reduced in the budget presented by Governor Ahmad Aliyu Sokoto, saying the committee had, however, transferred some projects from one place to another in order to accommodate the needs of electorate in the state. Similarly, during its today's sitting, the House considered and approved the recommendations of the Joint Committees on Special Services and Security Matters, Judiciary, Justice and Human Rights, chaired by Nasiru Adamu Guranyo, and passed into law a bill to establish Sokoto State Security Guards. Following the nationwide strike by the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria person over non-implementation of financial autonomy of state assemblies, the strike action affected 17 sitting days of assembly, hence the need to amend and adjust the calendar. The third quarter of that, supposed to commence from 9th January 2024 to 21st March 2024, will now extend to 28 March 2024.
We adopt the calendar in order to increase the days for the sitting of the calendar in order to augment what has been lost during the strike action of the person.
The House adjourned sittings for continuation of Parliamentary. In Sokoto, Nuruddin Abdullahi Adili, NTA News.
In a related development, Oyo State House of Assembly has passed the 2024 appropriation bill of over 438.4 billion naira. The passage was after due consideration by the lawmakers. Correspondent Oyeyinka Omole has details.
After consideration of the 2024 budget proposal of over 434.2 billion naira presented by Governor Shatima Kinde, the House increased the budget proposal to over 438.4 billion naira, indicating an increase of over 4.2 billion naira. Chairman, House Committee on Finance, Appropriation and State Economic Planning, Olasokomi Babalola, thereafter presented its report before the House. The House constituted itself into Committee of the Whole to consider the bill before its passage. A breakdown of the budget shows over 224.9 billion naira was budgeted for capital expenditure, which is an increase of about 2.6 billion naira, while over 213.5 billion naira is for recurrent expenditure.
Find out that on the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Primary Healthcare Board, we see that there is need to jack up their budget because those are the primary healthcare, which are the closest to the grassroots. And in times of agriculture also.
The House has adjourned plenary to Tuesday, January 16, 2024 in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
And that's our package for today. Do join us again next week, Wednesday, for another bulletin. You can follow us on for news updates on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thanks for watching and have a great evening. I am Amina Saidu Abubakar.